Hi, I'm Julie and welcome to my tiny home oasis. So here we are in my 2018 Gulfstream Vintage Cruiser. It has the vintage look, but all the modern amenities like air condition, which is important, and you know, I have everything I need here. This is my bed. It's a queen bed, although it is an RV size, which means it's shorter. At one point we put in a regular size mattress that was longer and more comfy, but it also stuck out to about here, so walking in the trailer was just a little too cramped. So went back to the original, got a little topper. One of the things that's really cool about this is it lifts up and has a ton of storage under here. My freshwater tank is right there, so I have access to that, but then all this storage, which is great. I keep little tubs and whatnot in here to pack up the things that would need to be packed up for travel. I have my stairs here because I have 4 dogs, and so the little ones just walk up the stairs to the bed and make themselves at home. The storage in this trailer is amazing. I have 2 closets here, and then I have the cabinet space over the bed. I just store blankets and extra sheets and whatnot. One of my favorite features of this is my skylight, because when I'm lying in bed, I have a beautiful view of the trees and the sky, and it's amazing, and the dream catcher over my bed. So here we are in my kitchen, and it really does have everything I could possibly need. I have a microwave, got my little oven, stove top. This sink is double-sided, but I kind of keep this here just to put my dishes when they're drying. I've got my little fan, which actually works wonders. This trailer does have AC, but I tend to like just the breeze of the fan and the open windows and open door whenever possible. One thing about me is I love mood lighting. So typically I don't have any usable light on, nothing that I could actually read by, but I do have mood lighting. So I have my string lights and all sorts of things. This is a little night sky, so it gives me little stars and whatnot on my ceiling. Again, lots of storage in here. I have storage up here. I have great pantry right here, pots and pans under here, and garbage. This is amazing. These drawers are massive, and so they really come in handy if we go camping. I can throw a bunch of stuff in here for travel so that things don't fall. We are hooked up to electricity, and I have cable and Wi-Fi and all that where I am, which is just lovely. It's all the comforts of home. The refrigerator, very decent size. Got a good sized freezer. I'm not a massive cook, but I love to bake, so I feel super fortunate to have this stove. It's small, but it totally does the trick to, you know, bake brownies or cookies, things like that. It's awesome. In addition to that, I'm very much a person that loves to personalize things. So I just have my, you know, special little magnets, my mama bear sticker with a picture of myself and my daughter, all the things that just make me feel like it's a regular home, because it is just tiny. So I have 4 dogs. I've been involved in the rescue world for over 15 years. My life pretty much revolves around my dogs. So every choice that I make with them in mind. And believe it or not, living tiny really does give dogs a great life. You can ask any van lifer who has a dog. It's absolutely an awesome lifestyle for dogs. So right now, I currently have 4 dogs, and they're all special needs. I have a 14-year-old Whippet, and then a 7-year-old Chinese Crested, a 6-year-old French Bulldog Boston Terrier mix, and this little 2-year-old pug. She's the baby of the family. So here we are in my little bathroom, And while it is tiny for a trailer of this size, it's pretty impressive how much room there actually is. I have a shower. I have a little fan up here and a skylight. The storage, again, remarkable. I do use my toilet. It is hooked up to the sewer line, which I will show you when we go outside. It's one of my favorite new features of this trailer. This is the other side. It has a pretty massive closet, I would say, for a trailer, and got my full sink, more cabinet space under here, medicine cabinet. I have my little towel rack so I can hang stuff on the back, and it all works out. So this happens to be one of my favorite parts. This is kind of a new addition. So I used to have to dump my black and gray tank into a porta tank, and then I'd haul that over to our sewage dump line and empty it in there. And that, if you're living in it full time, has to be done a couple times a week, at least with the size tanks that I have. My partner discovered what's called a macerator, and it's basically like a garbage disposal for the sewage. So what you do is you open your tank to empty, and it comes down here. You press this button and it takes the sewage down, and then it kind of grinds it up, and it runs through a specific hose, only used for the sewage, all the way to the sewage line and out there. So I never have to do the super heavy, bulky porta tank. So I wanted to go tiny for a good 10 plus years. It was part of the plan for a long time, but I'm a single mom, and my daughter and I had our life, and I was kind of waiting until she went off to school. So a couple of years ago, she went off to college, and I decided to buy the Vintage Cruiser, and it was a starting point for me. Wasn't how I envisioned tiny living, because I really wanted a tiny house at first, but it worked with my budget. It had pretty much everything I have ever wanted in a tiny home, and I can move it if necessary. So that was kind of how it started. I did not live in it full time then, but I had it as kind of an extra space that I would use. When quarantine started, I was at the Oregon coast on a little getaway weekend in the trailer, and we got a phone call from the RV park that we were staying at, and they basically said, you need to leave today by 5 p.m. or commit to staying for 30 days. So I just said, I'll stay. And I ended up staying for a month with my 4 dogs, and realized how much I really enjoy living tiny full time. So when I came back and we parked this back on my partner's property where it had been parked, I stayed in it. Shortly after that, I found this little trailer for sale and bought it for $800 and decided to just make this little oasis. So this is my second trailer. I found this not super long ago. It was actually at the beginning of quarantine, and it was for sale down the road from where we are now. And I just looked at it and thought, ooh, I could turn that into something. And it was basically a shell, and it still kind of is. It doesn't have electricity or plumbing or anything. It was torn to shreds on the inside. So this kind of paneling already existed, but nothing else really did. But I had a vision. I knew I could do something with it. So we had to redo the roof, and then the ceiling on the inside. We had to pull whatever existed down and replace wood and insulation. And then I found these little tiles that I love. I added just kind of battery operated lighting to give it a vibe, a little battery operated fireplace, and then, dog bed central. I use this space for yoga and meditation. and it's just kind of an extra space for the dogs, a little dog house. And they love it. I love it. It's just quiet and peaceful. So when I was redoing things in here, I just wanted to do things very inexpensively. And so I actually hung shower curtains. I have 2 shower curtains, and I couldn't believe I found this. This is a shot of Lake Tahoe, and it's a specific place called Sand Harbor. And we grew up going there when I was a kid, and then I would bring my daughter there over the years, and it's just a super special spot. My parents are no longer with us, but it makes me feel close to them. So when I come in here and I'm just having some quiet time, I somehow just feel a connection and just imagine the memories that we had. It just is very peaceful to me. So the floor that I went with in here is just the foam puzzle piece kind of floor. It looks like wood. It kind of matched the walls. But what I love, first of all, it's easy to clean with the dogs. But with the yoga, it is so comfy. I mean, when I used to go to the yoga studio, sometimes I would have to double mat it depending on, the poses that we were doing. And I'm never in pain. I can do cat-cow all day long on my hands and knees, and it doesn't hurt at all. So this little picture I bought 10 or 12 years ago at an art and wine fair in the town in California in which my daughter and I lived. And it was just, if you look really closely, you'll see inside the trailer, you can still see kind of the forest scene and the bed and the chair. It's a home. And that was kind of a fantasy, a dream to me at that point in time. And I feel so fortunate now to be living that dream. So that pretty much wraps up our tiny home tour. You can find us at Farkle Knows Best on Instagram. If you like dogs, if you like trailers, you'll be happy with what you see there. So if you have any questions about my trailers, about tiny living, dogs even, feel free to DM me at Farkle Knows Best. And thanks for watching.